problems with a kind of unified ID, if there was a government digital ID. But it's basically mission creep, because it might be convenient for bureaucrats to have one number that attaches to each of us. And they do already have this in Scandinavia. In Scandinavia, it's very normal. Norway and Sweden, everybody has a number, and everything they do with the state, from library books to healthcare to whatever, it's the one number. And generally, people seem to be very happy with that. Their relationship with the state is like, well, you know, you give us lots of good services, and we have a number, and we're all fine with this. But there are advantages to not having one unified system in terms of our relationship with the state. There are advantages to the mess of having a different, like, driving license, passport, national insurance number, whatever. And one of them is that you can actually feel more trust if you know what purposes this data is going to be used for. You can feel more trust that, like, well, I'm giving you this information and you're going to use it for that, and that's the deal. And if I don't want to give you that, I don't get a driving license, okay, fine, well, that was the deal. One interesting example of this is the census. In the year when the poll tax was brought in, looking at, I think some of you are also old enough to remember that, there was a lost million census entries. 1 million people disappeared from the census that year because 1 million people thought, well, you're just going to use this to chase me up if I don't want to pay the poll tax. And so people stopped filling the census in. And ever since then, the census has been really careful to say, look, we only use this information for the census, and we're not allowed by law to give out individual information about any individual for any other purpose. So please fill this in honestly, because we really want the big picture, we really want the population information, and if you don't fill it in, then we don't get that, and we can't, you know, predict how many hospitals we need down the road, whatever. But that was a real case where people were being asked for information for one purpose and did not trust the government not to use it for something else. So having separate data sources actually is really important from that point of view.